I always feel like there's like so much more less Warrior and like True sticks in all of the CHL than
Mhm.
than the others. Was that the case in Gatineau? Did you guys have an agreement with Warrior and were a lot of guys, a lot of other guys using Warrior sticks?
Yeah, so my first year, when I got there, we were actually a Bauer team, and that was like Christmas morning for me. Honestly, I couldn't believe like I was 17 years old, and you just get to the rink, and the Bauer guy comes to you and he says like, "What do you want?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" Like he goes, "You can get anything," and I my eyes lit up, right? So, um, I I didn't know anything at the time, like that you could get custom curves. I'm just thinking like, oh, like maybe I'll get like a P28 or a P92 or anything like that. Um, and Bauer has just a million codes as well, so I wasn't as in depth in that aspect is what I mean. But I was just so flustered. I was just like, I want whatever Stamkos is using. Just send me Stammer stick. I don't care. Um, and they got to me, and it was a total one total one graphic with the G3 build and his stock curve, and it was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. I was just pumped to like have Stammer stick in my hands. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, and then that year finished out, and I think it was just a financial thing for the team. Gatineau was really actually one of the first teams that I remember going to Warrior, um, and yeah, from there on we used Warrior for my entire time there.
So that
Was
was
Yeah, go ahead, Zach.
I
Sorry.
was gonna say, so that's like around the time that like Warrior kind of like was like transitioning to like, being a legit player in the game. So like
Yeah,
what was it like going from Bauer to that's, trusted and tried to
yeah,
still kind of like trying to build up the rep?
yeah. You know what? They were fantastic. Um, it was you thought Bauer had a lot of things to customize. Like Warrior was just the same, if not more. Even nowadays, I'll touch on that later. But nowadays, you can do anything with Warriors. But at the time, same thing. It's hard to transition over curves and things like that. Like I didn't know if they had the Stamkos curve or whatnot. So I actually had some pro stock Nathan Horton's Warriors when I was in minor hockey, and it was probably the best curve I had ever used. And I just said, "Hey, like, do you have Nathan Horton's specs or whatever?" So same thing. They just sent me his specs. Um, Again, great. It's an adjustment for sure. I think anybody who plays the game knows that you go from brand to brand. There's some differentiation, but yeah, they were really good to us. Obviously, they were new, so they were trying to get in the game, like you said. They outfitted us with a ton of clothes, a lot more than some other companies at the time. Um, but obviously, the CHL at the time still had the CCM deal and everything like that. So we were only Warrior sticks really, and then just our Gitch and our tracksuits and things like that were all Warrior. But they treated us well for sure.